I don't know if anyone can hear me. I don't know if anyone is on yet. It has been a little bit, though. It has been a little bit.
It's been like, a couple of months, Marco.
No, it hasn't been that long.
It has been that long. For me, I don't know if you've been doing secret pods without me.
No, I have not. It's been
a couple of months, dude. It definitely has. I think, or at least like 6 weeks. No?
Oh. Let me look.
What's up,
people
Justin?
are here.
It's been quite some time. I think we didn't want to come back until we can hear you, no visual, right? Because you're doing the Giants land Kenny Golladay art right now. What's up, Yankee King? What's up, Brian?
All right, people can hear us. We are on. Oh, look at
Justin.
Look at these numbers go.
That's because I dropped it on Twitter, bro.
What a nice little welcome back. What a nice little welcome back.
Controversy on Twitter with my takes, my hot takes.
I know you have turned it around. What's up, Jack? What's up, Maurice? What's up, Sean? What's up, everyone?
Sean Eiffel. The Eiffel Tower, they call him. His tower is an Eiffel. I'm so excited. Can't wait. I feel really bad about something, Marco.
Go ahead. I think the quality looks pretty good. I'm not going to lie. We both look pretty crisp and clean.
I mean, I can never quite live up to the Marco standards. He's got the backwards hat going. He's always secretly trying to do the Tony Romo thing, which is upsetting. But I feel bad for all these people that are so excited that I'm going to have to
burst some bubbles.
Drop some truth bombs, but I'm just kidding around. I'm not going to be negative. Right now in Giants land, things are as good as they've been in a long time. Here's to the Giants making some moves.
I know. Unexpected on my behalf.
I feel like we should just jump into it. Everybody knows what we're going to be talking about. Obviously, the signing of Jonathan Ross.
Yes. Speedster.
The Giants are never going to be the same. The next Bob Hayes. And other than that, I don't feel like we did anything else that I can think about. But if you guys are here to talk John Ross, Gary, Will, don't you start that. So listen, we have a lot to get to. We're not going to, this pod could be 3 hours long. We're not going to do that. We're just going to keep it for 40 minutes or something like that. When you move, I'm getting a lot of clicking and stuff, but so just keep it still.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I think it's your zipper on the mic. That's what it is.
My zipper is going?
Yeah. Your zipper when it hits the mic.
Look at that.
Yeah. So let's get into it. The Giants signed Kenny Golladay.
Correct. This is something that we've talked about prior.
Yes.
That this is possibly a free agent that we wanted to get. I thought it would have been a good fit.
Yep.
You thought it would have been a good fit as well.
Yep.
Money-wise, I didn't think it was possible.
Right.
The cap looked bleak, but obviously from what I've learned, I don't understand the cap, and the cap means shit.
Yeah, you just say we restructured, and then you can sign. They could sign Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Donald, anyone named Aaron, really, and they could fit it in if they wanted to. The Giants signed Golladay. I'm very happy that they did. It's a necessary piece. He was largely graded as I'd say around the number 4 overall draft pick. Free agent player, and the first 3 did not move. They were Dak, Godwin, and maybe Robinson. I think when I saw a list on PFF. So basically, the biggest free agent piece that moved
stayed home, right?
Was our guy, and that's great. Very, very happy about that. Now, the grain of salt, hopefully he stays healthy. He's had injury issues. Hopefully he stays healthy. Along that vein, they signed, is it pronounced Adoree?
It is, I believe. Is
it Adoree? Because there's a clef. There's a little apostrophe after the second
two E's and a little
Adoree. But I all day I've been singing that's amore and saying that's Adoree. I've been singing that, and I'm happy that we got this guy. Because now the thing that makes me happiest, he could be a CB2 for us, but it also means we're not going to draft a corner in the first round. And to that, I am so grateful because I hate drafting corners in the first round. That's a sip of water. I'm going to get drunk off water by the end of this. Hopefully I have to go to the bathroom and keep cheersing things. Another guy, though, who played 2 games last year. He played 2 games last year. He busted his knee up. Now, he's young. He's very good. And even if he doesn't come back 100%, he's probably good enough to be a solid CB2 for us. So I'm happy. But there is that grain of salt. But I'm happy they got him. And it kind of came out of nowhere. Positives to talk about. The Giants aren't underpaying for these guys. If anything, Golladay was supposed to probably get around people thinking 16, 16.5, maybe 17. He got like 18.5 or 19, right? This guy today, Adoree, people thought 8, 10, maybe 12. They gave him 13. So I think this is Gettleman just being like, I'm going to be fired if we don't win more games.
If we don't turn it around.
I don't care if I'm signing people and I'm spending on them, whatever it means in the future, it means in the future. But those are 2 good pickups. And the secondary looks very strong. We have to talk about the Giants community. Judge, they're bringing guys in for meetings. They're flying up Logan Ryan. They're bringing in Saquon and people's barbers and people's jewelers and people's mailmen and people's, fifth cousin twice removed. And
I saw all that.
They're bringing in everybody. I was asked at one point to talk to Golladay. They wanted like a real Giants personality. And so people right now in Giants land, it seems to be people are buying in the fact that anybody even wants to come here. We've been so terrible. I think it shows a lot of confidence in Jones. And so these are all positive things. We also have to talk about Leonard Williams.
Because that was the first straw.
Was the first straw.
That was the first
also, my food is here to my assistant if she'd like to pick that up. Sorry. I had to, it's been a rush kind of a day, but Leonard Williams, we brought Leonard, we got rid of Dalvin Tomlinson. I'm very much hoping that doesn't come to bite us because our IDLs have always been very good. And I know we've got some guys there, but you never know what the chemistry is, what the balance is and how Leonard Williams comes out to play, but I think we'll be okay there. But those big moves. And we got, I keep wanting to call him the wrong name because all these big white tight ends with long blondish hair mesh into one, but we got Kyle Rudolph, right? That's his name?
Yes.
A solid guy.
Big red zone target.
Hopefully he pulls a Tanya Harding and Galuli on Evan Engram and becomes our starting tight end. Anybody who's over 25 knows what I'm talking about. But so we made a lot of moves. We got another potential weapon and good blocker and a veteran presence and a leader at tight end. We re-signed Leo. We got the big-bodied target that we need downfield to spread the field out. We got Ross, who is untapped potential, but fastest wide receiver, fastest player in history of a timed 40, whatever it is. We'll see what he can do. And we got that's Adoree. We lost Dalvin.
There we go.
And so,
I don't think that's such a big hit losing Dalvin, considering that we got better in the secondary.
Just so you know, this is a live show. Hello? You can leave it at the door. Thank you so much. Okay, go Giants. Bye. So that's my food.
What did you order?
I ordered Asian tonight. It's a Thai place. There's that. Yeah. But we lost Dalvin. And who else? Anybody else? Any casualties? Well, I'm really upset about Zeitler. I'm very upset. I got to give my Zeitler rant.
We didn't lose Zeitler. They released or cut him, or however you want to phrase it.
I don't want to get to the negative. Let's hit the positive before I bring this thing down to a reality check. The positive is one word. It's potential. Okay. I know when I did one word, I meant two. It's potential. If Golladay is healthy.
Yes.
If Saquon comes back healthy. If Adoree is healthy. If Leonard Williams plays like he did this year. I'm going to mute my microphone here. Sorry, it's some background noise here. Then we have a lot of potential. Then we could be really, really good this year. I know I'm even forgetting somebody else. I'm gonna hold on a second.
Who did you forget?
No,
we didn't lose that many people. We renegotiated Solder.
All right, hold up. I got to hit up David Katz right now.
Hold on.
Now. And this is something I wanted to get to today.
Hold on.
Marco, I don't understand. I don't understand people, Marco. Okay,
go ahead.
The Giants badly needed a wide receiver and have badly needed a big wide receiver for quite some time. And then they went out and they acquired a big wide receiver. And they paid at least market value for him, if not overpaid for him.
Just a little bit over.
And people all over social media are saying what David Katz is saying right now, even just after the Golladay move. Where are all the Gettleman haters now? That's his job. They needed a receiver. He got a receiver and he paid what he's worth, if not too much for him. Why should we commend this guy and say, oh, he's back. He's proven the haters wrong? That's his job. You in the medical profession. Correct. It's like you putting on some gloves and a mask and handing someone what they needed and taking someone's temperature, whatever it is, and people going, oh my God, Marco's back. It's like, that's what you're supposed to do. He didn't find ways to make things happen that have never been done before. It's his 4th year. We've won 3 games in 3 years net since he's come along in this rebuild. He's missed on a lot of picks, made wrong picks, guys getting shooting people, going to jail, whatever. He's got some good picks, some bad picks. We don't know what's going to happen with Jones. I'm happy that Gettleman made the move that he did, but that's his job. It doesn't have to be he's awful or he's great. You're not great because you got a receiver when your team badly needs a receiver. Right. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here.
No, we're all thinking the same thing.
We're not all thinking the same thing because everybody's saying how amazing Lawrence Tynes and I, Giants kicker hero, we got into a thing on Twitter a little bit because he's like, oh, you Gettleman haters. He's been a part of the scout team of 7 different Super Bowl attending teams, whatever. And I'm right. What? Being a member of a scout team of the 92 Bills and all of a sudden, like, what? He got a receiver. We need a receiver. He may even have overpaid for him. I'm happy we got him, but that's his job. And it wasn't Gettleman. It's Joe Judge and the other Giants that are recruiting him. It's the city of New York. If Gettleman didn't have Judge and was in freaking Boise, was in Cincinnati, he wouldn't be bringing these guys in. So I just feel like, am I saying anything? Am I saying anything inaccurate?
Listen, I've been bashing Gettleman for a long period of time. I will say this. He is seeming to perform better while on the hot seat the last 2 years than the first 2 years. It seems like he knows he's been knocked down a peg. And with Judge in there, maybe there is more collaboration that was needed prior, and he wasn't like the know-it-all making these moves. Maybe there is some outside input that he's listening to, because there seems to be a clear difference between the first 2 years that he was in charge and the second 2 years so far. But this year, we're still talking paper.
Right. Hunter says, what happened to telling someone good job when they do a good job? I'm saying it's a good signing. I'm glad he made it. But that it's not a good, it's average. It's job done. It's not like it's job done. That's what he's supposed to do. It's Daniel Jones hitting an open receiver. Golladay wanted to come here. We paid him more than he thought he was going to get, and he came here. I'm happy about it. But the idea is all I'm going to say. I don't want to be negative on this pod. This is the last thing I'm going to say about Gettleman. The idea that the Gettleman haters have been silenced because he brought in a guy and paid him what he's worth, if not more, and the guy wanted to come here to begin with. That the idea that Gettleman is somehow, redeemed or something, or that you can no longer hate him is ridiculous. I'm glad he made the move, but this is what what it is, Marco? This is what he should be doing. And I'm glad he's doing it right now. That's how I feel about Gettleman. And I've always said, what do I always say about Gettleman, Marco? What's my line? Give it to me.
He picks good players, but not the right players.
He always brings in good players, but as we've seen with, in my opinion, Saquon, Dexter Lawrence, guys that didn't necessarily need, he brings in, they're good players, not always the right players. This is a good player, and I believe the right player if he's healthy. So
on both accounts.
Good job, Gettleman. Yes, good job.
Accounts.
Good job, Gettleman, on doing what you were supposed to do. I think there are a lot of GMs who do this kind of stuff all the time, right? You know, the teams that are just always seem to be good, Steelers, things like that.
With the additions that we have now, in my opinion, it opens up the draft to a multitude of options. But I think the biggest need probably is offensive line. But I can't see them gambling and going to another position. But they have to address the offensive line somehow in this draft.
So
early also.
I put up a couple of polls today, got a lot of traction on Twitter here. I'm upset that they got rid of Zeitler. I'm going to just spend a couple minutes telling you why I'm upset about this.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows I trash the offensive line. I don't mean to. I'm not trashing them. They're good, young. They work hard. They improved in the second half of the year. And guys, and people hear me out. Players need time to grow. Units need time to gel. I understand that. But you can't have all 5 of them be young projects that might pan out. You need some solid studs. So I'm willing to wait and hope on Andrew Thomas, first round pick, ups and downs last year. I'm willing to wait on Gates, who I really don't love, but he played better. It is what it is, undrafted, but he played better in the second. I'm willing to wait on him. And even Pert, who really had some terrible snaps and some really good snaps last year. Third round pick, a good frame on him. I'm even willing to wait on him. But if you're going to do that on 3 guys, you can't also do it with 2 guards that are young and seem like half the time they don't know what they're doing. And I know PFF is the end all, but PFF says they're just absolutely terrible. I mean, Lemieux is ranked like a 30, the worst in football. So if you're going to wait on those 3 guys, every other guy in the line, to me, you need some reliable guards, which would be Zeitler. How do you keep them? You do exactly what they did. I thought I was like, they should extend him 3 years, 26 million, 27 million. He picked up a contract for 3 years, 22 million. The Giants could have done that. And I wanted them to bring in another guard, a Tooney or Thuney, however you pronounce it, or a Scherf or someone like that. But at least keeping Zeitler, because now, even if we draft Slater or Vera Tucker or a guard that comes in and right away does a good job with our 11th pick, all it does is replace Zeitler, and we break even, which was the 31st ranked line last year. And even if they all improve a little bit, you're probably looking at like the 25th best offensive line. Even if it all goes well this year, we're talking about like a mid-20s offensive line. And, for Jones in his 3rd year, I wanted them to have some more reliable guys. So don't come at me like I'm anti letting guys grow, or I just think you got to bring in guys. I know you got to let these guys grow, but not all 5 of them. You can't go into the season hoping all 5 offensive linemen play significantly better than last year.
Where do I even start? So the Zeitler, I don't mind that they let him go, because in the end, it was one of the catalyst moves that brought us 2 other pieces that we definitely needed in regards to Golladay and Jackson. I can't remember if that also was that prior to signing Leo? I think it was.
That was the first thing they did.
So, and then you have the Solder. Is he going to play right tackle? Is he going to be a starter? How does he play at right tackle? They have pieces there. They have looked okay at points. People seem to love Nick Gates, love his tenacity, his fire. Hopefully his play will match both the tenacity and the fire. We have Andrew Thomas. We've seen Will Hernandez play well at times. It could happen.
It could surprise.
Look,
it could happen. I agree 100%. But But don't you agree that it could happen is not the mantra you should have about your starting offensive lineman heading into a quarterback's third season?
No, but I think they have to address the offensive line in the draft as well.
I was just hoping for at least one. Like, to me, they're all question marks. Question mark. Zeitler's not a question mark, right? Thuney's not a question mark. You just got even like a Trey Turner, something like that. Guys that if they're healthy, they're just going to be, you don't have to worry about them. You don't have to worry. We don't know. It's very possible Thomas is very good next year. It's very possible Thomas just never pans out. We don't know. It's a question mark. Same with Pert. Gates, he had a rough first half of the season. Schedule got easier. He had a better second half of the season, right? The only game the Giants offensive line actually looked good, really good, was Seattle. And Seattle had the worst defense in all of football. When they went up against good teams, they got manhandled. And Andrew Thomas, I know he had the foot injury, this and that, but he had more sacks than anybody in football. Any tackle, he gave up how many sacks? And after people said they were playing good, they gave up 12 sacks to Arizona, some ridiculous things. So that's all I'm trying to say is that, to me, the offensive line is so important. And I think right now we can all agree, even if you're optimistic, we don't quite know if they're going to be average, below average, or above average.
Right.
And to me, it's such an important group, especially with Jones. He's not Mahomes. He can run vertical, but he's not going to elude in the pocket like crazy. He has trouble with pocket presence, trouble holding the ball. And I like Jones for the most part. But for him, I think it's really important to give him that offensive line. There's no shame in that. Tom Brady's the winningest quarterback of all time. When he gets sacked 3 times in a game, he has a 500 record. So you got to keep your quarterback upright, depending on who he is. I was just hoping for a little bit more support in offensive line and getting a rookie, as we've seen, even if it's a top rookie, you never know what's going to happen exactly. So those are the two things. I wanted them to figure out a way to keep Zeitler.
I think it might be helpful this year. Thinking about it this way, we're going to have a set offensive coordinator, a new offensive line coach that seems to be where they're going, right? Newly in place, and Joe Judge all getting together with a team that's able to get together in non-such restricted COVID surroundings. They'll be able to meet up, be more on the page. Those players that were here last year will be more acclimated to each other in the process. We have Solder returning, who's probably will start at right tackle if Pert doesn't, or if Pert is moved, or if Solder is moved.
Right. So
they
Solder,
probably will. They probably
basically played himself out of a position, then took a year off and is coming back rusty. That's our plan for right tackle. Just making sure I'm on the same page with you.
Would you be surprised if he was a solid right tackle?
I think he's a below average. He'll be a below average right tackle. That's kind of what I think. I think like Thomas, I think could be average this year. Is below average last year, could be average this year. I'm expecting both of our guards to be below average. Gates in a full season to be about average. And our right tackle to be probably below average. So you're looking at a below average offensive line. I think that's fair. And that's even if these guys work hard and progress. It takes time with a lot of these young guys. You don't know. As our buddy Captain Negative says, you need talent on the offensive line. You know what I mean? I think we just need a little more talent, but I don't want to harp on it about the offensive line. This is a positive day for the Giants. It's a positive time for them. I put up a lot of polls today about drafts, and I put up 4 different drafts, asked people which ones they preferred, and by far the 2 drafts
I saw what people were picking.
Said they wanted was either 1 or 4. 1 was Slater, Osai, Dylan Moses, and Sage Surratt, and 4, which was also extremely popular, was Micah Parsons, Rondale Moore, Trey Smith at guard, and Patrick Jones at edge. I also put up another poll in which I asked people, I said, if we land Adoree, who do you want at 11? And I let people write in Pitts if they wanted to, but nobody said Pitts. I put up Ojulari, Parsons, Slater, or Waddle. 45%, and I got 280 votes, so a lot of votes here. 45% said they prefer Slater at 11. Next closest was Parsons at 28. So pretty big gap there. Slater, not quite double, but head and shoulders above. 28 for Parsons, 22 said Waddle. People still wanting that underneath weapon, and I get it, pairing him with Golladay, and then you figure him slicing and dicing underneath. And only 5% said Ojulari. What I'll say about Ojulari is this, just so people understand. He's been my top edge, him and Osai really, but the more I look at it, Ojulari has been my top edge. He's a guy, not super big, very, very young, very twitchy, from Georgia. And my little system that I do where I look at tackles for a loss plus sacks per game, I look at size and speed and all the tangibles, the intangibles. I also look at the strength of schedule for each year. I have a whole mathematical formula that I do months before all this heavy stuff starts. And he came out on top as having the best stats against basically the better numbers than everybody and better tougher competition than everybody. And I looked, he was like 19 years old this year, super young. And for the Giants, and all of a sudden now on the Draft Network, right, TDN, he was in like the 30s, 40s, then he was in the 20s. All of a sudden today, after a nice pro day, he is their top-rated edge rusher. He's well ahead of pay. He's like number 15 overall. And I'm like, this is what I've been saying for a while. So I give my system a little bit of credit. I wouldn't hate the Giants taking him there because we need an edge rusher so bad. And last thing I'll say about the edges right now, I don't think Pay fits our system at all. He's a stockier kind of guy. He's a 4-3 D end. He's more of a Ed Oliver, but for a 3-4 edge, I think Azeez Ojulari in the first round, or if they're all thinking Osai is going to drop to the second round, like to 42. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he goes. He's a ton of upside. Love what he does. He's just a notch below Ojulari, but I would love either of those guys. Those are the two best scheme fits, in my opinion, for an edge rusher. So those are the two guys I'd want. But if you go with anybody but an offensive lineman in the first round, you have to grab a Humphrey or a Davis in the second round, in my opinion, to play guard.
Would you, if you had a choice, would you go an edge defender just like you were talking about, or would you go for like a Parsons if he was there?
You know, I'd probably take an edge rusher. I know people love Parsons. I just miss an edge rush so much. We've got Martinez making plays in the middle. The Giants were the worst pass rush percent win team last year. I know we manufactured with Graham's defensive schemes an average amount of sacks for the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd love that constant pressure off the edge like we used to get with OC or with Strahan or with JPP. Now, Parsons, I'm a big character guy. I'm like a nerd like that. You know, my favorite Avenger is Captain America. Like, so I like Superman more than Batman. So all the stuff with Parsons and, a lot of accusations. And I think I don't want to, this is all allegedly, and I might be wrong, but I think he's had multiple DUIs or tickets for drinking and things like that. And I know it's college, but I think maybe some DUIs and stuff like that. And
I didn't know that.
The hazing stuff and the bullying stuff. And I'm not one to be like, it's football. I grew up in a football culture. I understand bullying. It sounds like weakest. I'm just saying in general, if he's just like a jerk or if he just doesn't quite get it, you don't need that. And I know these guys are young, but, some guys are young and do everything right. So I think he's one of the top 5 most talented. When it comes to pure talent in this draft,
he's one of them, yeah.
Sewell and Pitts and Lawrence and Parsons, there's certain guys that just can do things other guys can't do. And I know people love Parsons, but I would always be a little bit nervous about him in New York City, money, all this stuff, and just seeing what goes on. But I understand people making a case for all 4 of those guys. Slater, let's bolster the offensive line and give Jones time to use his weapons, and let's actually open some holes for Barkley. Ojulari or an edge rusher, we need a freaking pass rush. It's time. Actually put some pressure. Imagine how good our defense can be with that. Waddle slicing and dicing underneath, Golladay going long. opens up huge possibilities. And Parsons, he's the best defensive playmaker in the country, and supposedly a once every 5 years type of linebacker. So I get that, and he could provide a pass rush as well. So I understand people's points that they make for all those guys.
Pitts, even though I don't think it's going to be in
there.
there.
They have to get rid of one of their guys, which I'd love. I think they should trade Evan Ingram for a third and then take someone like Tommy Tremble or another tight end in the third. I mean, I you know how I feel. I feel the Giants are genuinely better, even if they just cut him and got nothing in return. I think he's a net negative. I think he costs us more. I'm being serious.
Yeah,
I think he costs us a little bit more than he actually does. That the 30-yard catch every 3 games is not worth the fumble or the turnover or the tip into the defenseman's hands every other game. Yeah.
Oh man, I could see so many possibilities for the draft. I could see them going Waddle, who was my original pick before, they did get a Golladay and they brought in John Ross and stuff like that. But with his speed and quick release catches, maybe that helps out the offensive line a little bit, not as well as like bringing in an offensive lineman, but schematically it might be difficult for people to gear up. You're going to have to watch Golladay. You're going to have to watch Waddle. You're going to have to watch Ross if he's going. And we still have Sterling Shepard. So, those are, and Slayton.
Shepard and Slayton.
And Ingram.
And I love Shepard. I love Shepard. And so I think they probably stay away from a receiver at this point. I
think so too.
I'm thinking they probably, honestly, I'm feeling like they go with one of the lines, and that's why I was so happy. I was so happy that they got Adoree or Adoree, not just because they got him, but because it means they're not. I'm like a weight off my chest that they're not going to draft a corner in the first round, that we can actually focus on the trenches a little bit. As a Giants fan, we don't have good luck drafting corners. We never have. Even offensive linemen, not really. We kill it with box defenders.
John Doe, don't call Ingram a weapon, please. I'll call him an occasional weapon. Is that okay?
Nah, he's a triple threat. He can't catch, he can't block, and he can't stay healthy. And by the way, Jack, I think Jack was watching. I always like to interact with Jack, but I haven't been looking at the comments. I apologize, guys. I'm going to start looking at some more of your comments right now, and I think I got a couple on Twitter. One thing I want to say to everybody out there about Slater, I'm not totally sold on Slater. I'm totally sold on Sewell. Darisaw is a real beast, but we're not going to get a tackle, and he can't really play guard. Slater doesn't get huge push. He holds a good amount too. And so in a weird way, he almost reminds me of Andrew Thomas, but more athletic. And whereas Darisaw is more of a Wirfs. And so I watch him play, and he made his whole reputation in the game where he neutralized Chase Young. But Chase Young had many games where he didn't have sacks, which means he was neutralized by guys. I think Slater is very good. His footwork is really, really good. I think he's a good dude. I think it looked like in his weight room he was pushing tons of weight and lift. I mean, he looks like a beast. But when you watch his tape, it's good, and he gets to where he's supposed to be. But there's not huge push, and I'm a little worried about his strength, maybe his functional strength. I don't know. I'm not a complete expert on this, but just from my eye test, I was hoping he got a little bit more push. And someone mentioned this point, like last year in the draft, he was going to be considered a second rounder by a lot of people. And then he sits out a season, and all of a sudden he's like a top 10 guy. It's like, where did that come from? Like Daniel Jeremiah kind of made him. Daniel Jeremiah came out when Slater was like in people's high 20s and said he was his OT1, a better than Sewell. And from that moment on, and I respect Jeremiah and I love Jeremiah. From that moment on, all of a sudden Slater went from like a back end of the first round kind of guy, maybe
jumping people up,
to like, oh my God, he's going to go number 5 to the Bengals. So I'm not 100. I'd be happy if they got him, and I think he'll probably be good. But I'm not like as sold on him as I think other people. Like to me, it's not like, oh, Slater, plug him in and forget about him for 10 years. I'm not quite there, but I'd still take him if he were available.
So a lot of the mock drafts that I've been looking at,
I would use as a guard for people that are writing in that.
So a lot of the mock drafts that I've been looking at now, compared to the beginning of the offseason,
right?
QBs are flying up the board. Now we have 4 of them going. maybe even 5 of them going in the first like 10. So that's pushing a lot of people down. I don't think Sewell will be there because most consistently I see him going to Cincinnati.
If he gets past Miami.
Right.
And Dallas will take him too. So
yeah. So no, I don't see him going past. I think Cincinnati's at 5, I believe. But other offensive linemen's on the board. And Dallas's defense is horrible.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably going to go corner. Or so, although, by the way, Farley, I don't know if you heard, he's having back surgery. Did you see that?
No.
I don't know why he would time this. Some kind of minor procedure, but I don't know. He's having like a bulge disc or some kind of a vertebrae that's out of whack. He's having it worked on. He's going to miss his pro day. It's going to drop him. I really, really believe it is. I think he was number 1 to everybody. I think Surtain goes ahead of him and maybe even Horn at this point. Because if I'm a GM and I know the guy's got back issues, I'm gonna drop back a little bit on him. So with the Giants, I think they either go offensive line or edge rusher. And honestly, Marco, my biggest hope for this draft, this is just my thinking. This is just the way that I am. What do you think my number 1 hope for the draft is?
Your number 1 hope?
The one thing I'm rooting for more than anything in this draft.
This is a very wide question. I could take it in many ways. Are you speaking very specifically to like a skill set? Like you don't want a position set? Like you don't want to see them draft any of this blank position?
Okay. It's even more specific than that.
You don't want a specific player.
This is true.
You don't want a specific player.
My biggest wish for this draft is one request that I'm afraid is going to happen.
You think they're going to take an edge rusher who sat out for a year?
No, that's not even it. No, Joe's saying Sewell to fall. Of course, that'd be great. My biggest request, Mark, you want to give it one more college try and then I'll tell you?
You don't want them to draft Surtain.
Well, no, but I don't think they will. That's not a real fear. That's not a real fear anymore.
You don't want them to draft.
I mentioned it already. I mentioned already a guy that I don't think is a fit for us.
Oh, he was an edge rusher on... No, not Slayton.
What happens on a Friday when you have a job?
Paid? Oh, pay. I was like, paid?
My number 1 wish in this draft, I'm not joking, is that they do not take Kwity Paye. No offense to him. I know it sounds harsh. I think 11 is a reach for any team, no matter what the system. His numbers are not there. People say he's so raw. His talent, wait till you see what he becomes. He's not one of these guys who started playing football like sophomore year of college and he's just learning the game. He's 23 years old and he's been playing since he's a kid. And his production is very average. And I know he's a beast and he's muscular and he's twitchy and they think he's going to become something. He's a pick that you make in the mid-20s, in my opinion, if he fits your scheme. I'm afraid in our system, Marco, he doesn't play. He can't play the 3-4 outside backer edge position. He'd probably be an interior, like our DN, like a Leonard Williams on basically on the line. You know what I mean?
Williams, who's 26, only 3 years off. How does that work out?
So that's my one wish is that they don't go with like a couple of years ago, it was Rashawn Gary that people had the Giants were going to take at 6 or whatever. And I was flipping out one of these guys who has such physical ability, but he might be, a project. No, he doesn't fit our scheme. Anyone they take but that, honestly, if they take an edge rusher, if they take Parsons, if they take another wideout, I mean, it's not what I want, but I can at least understand why they want Waddle across the middle or whatever it is. But if they take Paye,
a lot of people are agreeing with you.
Oh, I'm not even reading. Let's see. Parson or no
Darcy
way.
Agreed. Okay. Paye has bust all over it.
Yeah, and again, he could pan out, but it's not a fit, and it's not the risk we need to take right there. If we're going to take an edge rusher, it's got to be Ojulari in the first, or it's got to be Osai in the second. And that's that. So that's my biggest wish. So the thing that I'm pumped about is the potential. It's the potential of Golladay,
Mm-hmm.
of Adoree, of our tight end, our new tight end Rudolph, of even the added. Who knows? Maybe Ross can come in. He's 5'11". He's the fastest guy. Maybe he can be a mini Waddle for us if he can catch the ball and stay healthy. So there's tons of potential here. We're going to get Xavier McKinney for a full year, right? Our secondary could be legit. The negatives, I wish they would have figured out a way to keep Zeitler. I think the offensive line needed help that even a stud rookie will not be able to give them. I'm afraid Jones will not have tons of time. All these guys that are weapons have injury histories. Some of them, Saquon, Golladay, Adoree, none of these guys have played in the last year or two. So it's kind of sad that we're so excited about guys that are injury prone. And as a Yankee fan, I've been, zinged by injuries on my team like no one else has for the past few years. So I'm a little bit gun shy. And we'll see. Hopefully the defense, hopefully Dalvin wasn't that integral of a piece. I wouldn't be surprised, of course, Marco, if they don't take, if they take an interior defensive lineman in the second or third. And honestly, I wouldn't mind taking one in the third or fourth. We need a linebacker as well. To me, the perfect draft, probably the perfect draft that has any realistic chance of happening, is probably Slater at 11, Osai at 42. If I got those two guys, I'd turn the draft off and just be happy. If I can get Slater at 11 and Osai at 42, I'd be thrilled. And then after that, I'd love it if somebody like Cox or Werner or Surratt, we could grab a linebacker that can play, that can move. That would be my ideal draft.
For some weird reason, it's not showing up on Twitter, the feed. So if anyone's listening and you want to share it to Twitter, please do so, or share it to any social media that you would love. I would love that.
PFF has Carlos Basham Jr. ranked pretty high. I think the Giants have a chance at him in the second round. Definitely have a chance. To me, there's a definite top 5 rushers that I think are first round caliber. It's Ojulari, it's Osai, it's Pay in the right system for the right team. It's Phillips, but he's got concussion history, and it's Rousseau.
Oh my God, here we go, LA Yankee with the trade proposals. Stop, just stop with the trade proposals.
For Khalil Mack.
We just added people. He's like, who we should get? We should trade for him.
After those guys, there's a group of like my 6 to 12, which is Roche, Basham, Rashed, Away, Weaver, Jones, even Shaka Tony would be a great late round pick. If he's there in like the 5th, or he's pretty good, Shaka Tony. He's got some pretty good upside. So I think, Basham in the second, the Giants should be able to grab him. You know what the weird thing is, Marco? What are you laughing at?
Nick, Jesus answered his prayers and we have a secondary.
I hope you had more prayers
he does
before you got to that one.
But that might be up there.
Giants, it's all good. I understand it. Giants are also finalists for I think it's Trey. He wrote Ty Turner. I don't think we have the money, but I would love to. If the Giants brought in Turner, that would be great. But the thing about this edge class, Marco, they're all older than you and I. All these edge guys, like the top 15 edges, they're all redshirt seniors. They're all 23 years old. It's crazy. These guys that I thought were young.
Yeah, just like when you were saying they was 23 and like Leonard Williams is 26. And
no, these guys they're all super seniors except but my top 3 edges all happen to be the 3 youngest guys. The guys that I think are genuinely the best also happen to be the youngest guys. Ojulari, Osai, and Rousseau. So if that doesn't make them really the best, the fact that they're younger than everybody and have produced better than everybody, but so many of these guys, the Bashams and Rasheds and Weavers and stuff.
Do you think Rousseau would be too much of a gamble?
I wouldn't take him at 11. He plays inside a lot. If you watch his tape, a lot of his sacks, a lot of his pressures, they come from like a 4-3 defensive tackle position. I mean, I know he's more edge ready, in my opinion, than like a Pay for our system. But Marco, do you think a guy who's 6'7" could really be out there on an island as an outside backer for us? I mean, we saw what that looked like with Matthias Kiwanuka it just looked awkward. It was like watching Manute Ball for some reason run around on the basketball
trying
court.
to swat people.
So I think Rousseau is good and talented, but again, I just think by far the best fits for our defense are Ojulari and Osai.
Yeah, my father-in-law was adamant yesterday. He's like, Giants trade back just a little, go offensive line back to back, and with the second first-round pick. I was like, oof.
Offensive line back to back. Even I think that's overkill, because just to bring in more guys that are rookies, like you can't count on these. You want to bring in one stud rookie and be
I get the concept.
Sure.
I get the concept. Like you really want to bolster that line. Let's do it as fast as we can. But I don't know if that's the way to do it.
All right, John Doe, this is going to make or break me trusting you moving forward. Washington, Bengals, Giants are the finalists for Trey Turner per NFL rumors. All right. I mean, I don't see where this money's coming. Is it just like, are the Giants just printing money? Do they just have money?
Do you think with all this, is there like a pending trade or a cut that's probably going to happen?
Oh my God. I hope they cut Ingram. Oh my God. NFL rumors. The Giants are also finalists with the Bengals and Washington football team for Trey Turner. This is as of an hour ago. But I don't know who we can, these guys. I'm not seeing any. I don't mean to be this guy, but I'm not really seeing many like verified accounts, people that are that do this for a living.
Why is Periscope not doing its job? Is my question.
Dream pick at 11 is Pitts. If you get Pitts, what are you going to do with the other tight ends? You're not going to address. You're going to just roll with this offensive line, or you're just not going to address. No, you didn't lie. I got you, John Doe. You're good to go. Even though you're a fake identity, John Doe's probably my mom or something like that.
2030.
Dylan Moses, Monty Rice be a late round steal. Yeah, it should be interesting to see what happens. We got to wrap this up a little bit, I think, Marco. At least on my end, I want to wrap it up kind of soon. I got to go eat that Chinese food, or that Thai food, rather. But look, Giants land for the first time in a while. I think this is a high for us. I think we have reason to be optimistic. There's excitement, at least. We'll see what the season brings. If everything clicks, if the offensive line plays better, if all these guys stay healthy, then yeah, I think, Jones takes some steps. You could be looking at maybe an average offense and a very good defense. In my opinion right now, Marco, before drafting anybody, I still would only – I'm not going to say how many wins I would pencil us in for, because people are going to hate me so bad. But just remember this. We had the 31st ranked offensive line in football last year.
It's true. It's factually correct.
And we cut our best linemen. Just remember that. So even if they all step it up a little bit, we could be looking at the 30th best or 27th best offensive line, which affects Saquon, we had the second worst offense in football. So bringing in one big receiver and getting Saquon back, it helps. But our offense was a long way away. Our offensive line was really bad. A couple of bright spots against some bad teams, but I still think we need to I think we need to knock this draft out of the park in order to be good. If the Giants were able to, I think it's a little too late for the line, I think, to be like really good this year. I think it's going to, even if we got like a Slater, I still think there's going to be a lot of bumps and bruises along the way, a lot of shuffling. But
I think even if we get the line to decent, it's good. It's going to be helpful.
Agreed. If the offensive line can be average this year, the Giants are playoff. If the offensive line is average and everybody stays healthy, the Giants could be looking at a winning season.
Yeah, easy.
But I think that's easy sure that any of those things happen. So I'm not going to put them there.
This is this is all talking. This is all paper talk.
Right. And so that's what I think. If the line all steps up and can just be about average and everybody stays healthy, I think this is a winning team with a winning record.
What was one of Jerry Reese's quotes? after he won the Super Bowl when they were asking him? He's like, "You can never build the perfect team. You just have to build your team." Something along that line.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Nick wants to know 7-9 at this point. Yeah, I'm not willing to say at this point. At this point, I'm not willing to say we're looking at a winning season. I think I'd like to if they brought in Slater and Osai and a linebacker, some sick draft, and we'll see. We'll see how these guys progress. We'll see how the offensive. Someone like Pert could be a complete swing and a miss, or he could come into his own and be really, really good. Like there's so much we don't know. Thomas could just never be able to catch up to the game, or he could have been injured last year, take some bumps and bruises, tough schedule early on. He could come out and just be really, really good this year. There's so much that we don't know. But as of right now, Giants Nation, we should be happy. We've probably improved ourselves. We lost a really good defensive lineman. We lost our best offensive lineman. We replaced it with a corner and 2 receivers. I just made myself sick realizing that we lost our best defensive lineman.
No, we didn't.
Best offensive lineman.
We regained our best defensive lineman.
No, I misspoke. We lost our best offensive lineman.
No, we didn't.
Offensive.
No, we didn't. Thomas is better than Zeitler. Zeitler's on his way down in his career. Thomas's trajectory is definitely going to be on the way up.
But as of right now,
if you would have asked 32 GMs, who would you rather have on your team right now?
For this next upcoming season, they would all say Zeitler. If you said for their
not. No, they would not.
Dude, Zeitler
just by right position alone, they would take a better left tackle.
For one season? For just this season, and then there's a bomb's going to just destroy the earth. Zeitler, here's the bet. I'll make you a bet. I will bet you.
Do you want to pull it? Do you want to put it on the Twitter poll?
No. Listen, here's what I'm gonna I'm gonna bet you, Marco.
Okay.
I'm gonna bet you that by the end of this season, I'm gonna write this down somewhere. Everybody, listen up. By the end of this season, Zeitler's PFF grade will be higher than Andrew Thomas's PFF grade, and the loser has to pay the amount of money of whatever the grade of the worst person is. If it's 63.75, that's $63.75.
Sounds good.
Okay. I'm going to say that Zeitler's PFF grade at the end of this year is higher than Andrew Thomas's. And I hope that I am paying you by the end of this year.
There we go.
Okay.
I will take that. Bet is on, my friend.
All right. So anyway,
what are people saying?
I don't know.
Zeitler. Oh, come on, Nikki. Nate, what are you talking about, Nate? How do you delete someone else's comments?
I had a question. Someone wrote a question to me. They wanted to make a comment, and I told them I would read it on the air. This is from Nick Voltoro. I'm not sure if that's the same Nick who we had a Nick DiBernardo, something like that. Italian Nicks. There's a million of them. I can say that I'm Italian. Nick Voltoro says, he says, I think you can put Waddle and Parsons as 1A and 1B. I don't know if the Giants will go Slater, but I would be comfortable trading back if one of those players are available. I go best player available and don't settle for reaching for a player to fill a need. That would be the best approach. So he's saying Waddle and Parsons are his 2 top players that he wants. I'd be comfortable trading back if none of those players, I might have said one of those players, if none of those players are available. So, some people, there's 2 camps. There's the people that want kind of the flash, and there's people that want to batten down the hatches. There's people that are like, let's get it in the trenches, and other people are like, let's go for the big playmakers. You know what I mean? They both have merit.
Will, are you getting ratioed in the comments over here?
What's happening here?
Zeitler is on the downswing. I'll take Thomas.
Zeitler's on the downswing. You are 100% correct.
All right, we will see. See.
You are absolutely correct. Thomas is probably going to get better.
Guys, let's talk about what I'm going to
get worse.
Let's talk about what I'm going to do with that $76.
I hope it's $76 because that would mean that Thomas's grade is higher than a 76. That'd be great.
Let's see. Oh, here we go. Another trade proposal.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
Yeah, they're just going to give up TJ Watt.
So, guys, listen. I think we can all. Marco, would you agree on this being the title for right now of Giants the Giants season right now? Cautiously optimistic. Is that fair? Which of those two words are you struggling with? Cautiously?
I would say right now, finally excited again.
Even with the injuries, even though these guys are going to get dumped, they're going to show up to practice on day one out of the back of an ambulance like this, ready to go, taking the neck braces off. And even with the offensive line that we have, you're still just full excitement.
I mean, this is the first time in a long time that I feel like there's a little mojo there. I'm like, yes.
No, I agree. I just think maybe if the O-line doesn't pan out, we're putting a nice paint job on a Pinto, and that's what I'm afraid of. The engine, the car can look as good as you want, but it's not going to go if the engine doesn't go.
So I always use I like the Lakers a lot, right? I'm a big Laker fan, and one of my favorite Lakers team was a team that only got into the playoffs. Is like very young Kobe. Nick Van Exel was still the point guard, and that just building process was one of my favorite teams, even though that they didn't eventually win. They still had needed other pieces. That's how I feel about this team right now. I see the pieces there, and I could kind of see where it's going now, and it has that excitement.
It is exciting. I'm very happy that they got a corner. I'm very happy now. I'm excited for the draft. I only have one thing I'm fearful of, and that's Kwity Paye. I'd be okay
with Kwity Paye. Listen, Kwity, if you are listening.
Again, people take my words the wrong way. He's
calling you old. I don't know what that means.
He is a good player. He's just not the right player for us, which means his prime that Gettleman's going to take him. He belongs on a team, in my opinion, that's like developing or whatever, and they run a 4-3, and he can play that 4-3 edge position. He's not a 3-4 edge, in my opinion. If the Giants got Turner, who I think he was injured too, though, right? If the Giants got Turner, I would change my entire attitude around, and I would go straight full excitement, because then that's a established, solid guard. Then you bring in an offensive lineman in the first 2 rounds, an edge rusher in the first 2 rounds, and then you're looking.
Wait, is the Turner thing like legit? Like seriously looking into it?
All right, let's see.
All right, I'm gonna hit up the Google machine too.
Well, all right, Alex Wilson, who is the founder of Empire Sports Media, covering New York sports XYZ. The guy looks like he's 12 years old. No offense, Alex, you're youthful. Says new rumors emerging that the Giants could be in on OG Trey Turner now. Just rumors, but Lord have mercy, that would be stupendous. And then someone else says, not true. There's been no rumors, but that person's name is Cincy Bengals. So, we could be talking. It could be middle school kids talking. I haven't heard that rumor. I don't know that they have the money to pull that off. But does he have the Gettleman connection from the Panthers?
I'm looking now.
So, guys, write in before we get off the air here, or at least before I leave, who you want the Giants to take at – well, actually, okay.
I don't see it. I don't see these rumors.
Who do you want the Giants to take at 11? Everybody write that in right now.
And give us some time to do some quick research.
No, there's no research to be had, really. He was
busy.
Drafted by Gettleman. All right. Let's see.
He was?
Yeah. All right, here we go. Matt Lombardo. Okay. Hold up. Here we go. We got, boom, Parsons. Okay. Playmaker in the middle. Don't care about the potential character issues. Slater, I like you very much. Jack, my boy Jack is back in town. Trevor Lawrence, very funny, Jack, you asshole. You see that, Marco? Jack wants him to take Trevor Lawrence at 11. It's OL or DL. Okay. Matt Lombardo says, I've asked around both Giants and league sources on Trey Turner, and there hasn't been any contact. Don't believe everything you hear, a team source says. So that is a verified Matt Lombardo. He's saying there is nothing at this point. There is not even no fire. There's not even any smoke about this rumor. So thanks for getting my hopes up. Evan Engram is the weak link.
I'm looking through. I still don't see. I see the Lombardo tweet that you were speaking of.
Yeah. So that's it. I mean, everyone else is just rumors. The only person who is verified on here who said anything, who's a professional, said that there's nothing to it. So
yeah, and related to the Giants. All right, let's look at latest.
NFL rumors call the Ross signing. Oh, okay. Fair enough. So people are basically split, dude, between Parsons and Slater with outside chance of Waddle. I think there's a bigger drop-off between Parsons and a second-round linebacker. Like, linebacker just Parsons than everybody else. Slater isn't that different than Vera Tucker, who isn't that different from Humphrey, who isn't that different from Davis. But I don't know, linebacker. You know what linebacker I would have taken out of the draft was White, was Devin White. He just looked different on film than any linebacker I'd seen in a while, and he's really proven to be a really good player. But Vera Tucker, yeah, no, he's legit. He's good. So that's it, man. Marco, we've got some news. It's good to be back with you.
It's good to be back. I want to try to be more consistent on this thing, but
now we we came back on a good day. I mean, this has been
thank you everyone for jumping back in.
Yeah,
people taking a little hiatus.
Excitement. I hope I didn't bring anybody down.
Nah,
we lost.
It's been worse.
We lost two very valuable trenches players.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to have to make sure we address that. I definitely want another lineman and to give Jones the opportunity to use his new toys. We hope they all stay healthy. But I'm very happy with what the Giants have done in the last couple of days. I still want that line to be better, and I think we need a killer draft, and hopefully we can get that. First round, I'd be open to multiple things. I'd love to grab Osai in the second round. We'll see what it is, man.
It's gonna be an exciting little. There that word is again, excitement.
And now that I'm all getting my hopes up over this Trey Turner thing, John Doe, I'm going to kill you if it doesn't happen now. At least I don't know where to find him.
I didn't see anything legit in our favor rather than just like fan rumor sites.
It's all good, guys. Here's the pound for Joseph Clark, Jack, Joseph, everybody.
You're out?
I'm going to be out. I got to go eat some
Enjoy your Thai food. People want to know exactly what do you order when you order Thai food.
This was some dumplings.
Okay.
I went light today. Some fried rice, and my main thing was a yellow curry with some shrimp that I'm going to put over some white rice.
There you go, my friend.
Jack, we'll have to have Jack on one of these days.
Yeah, sure.
I was just going to say, better to have Jack on than Jack off like an idiot. But
you said it anyway.
Did I just say that out loud? Is this thing on?
Is it?
But okay, we're excited. I just want to make sure we fortify.
Mm-hmm.
We got to fortify the fort. Otherwise, these weapons don't matter. You know what I'm saying? The weapons we got right now. The weapons. We got to make sure that we fortify. I'm delusional. I need to go eat something. Love you guys.
So have your pad thai or your white rice and noodle, fried rice, whatever.
By the way,
combo.
By the way, I was like, what is the headline going to be when they got Golladay? Was it going to be Happy Golladay? Was it going to be Golladay season? Or was it going to be Kenny Golladay with the NYG in caps? I haven't seen any papers, so somebody hit me up on Twitter and let me know. I always like thinking what the headlines are going to be. Could it be That's Adoree?
That might be tomorrow, my friend.
Could it be My eyes adore you.
Probably not that one. Probably not that one.
Could it be open adore?
I think we got the first one on that.
We're gonna go with the first one.
All right, everyone that is on
How you
Facebook,
feeling, Will?
everyone that is on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, thanks for jumping in. All the comments, all the likes, all the shares, all that. I gotta figure out what happened with Periscope. I know they're shutting down, but it still should work. Look at you with your baby Cavassier.
This is gonna be. I'm gonna drink. Let's take a sip of this every win the Giants have. I'm gonna pour it out for Zeitler.
for if they draft a Penn, is that a bottle of blue in the background by any chance?
What is it? This?
Is that a bottle of blue? No.
This is that's Jack Daniel's Sinatra Select. It was limited edition. They released it 100 year on what would have been his 100th birthday. He was a big Jack Daniel's guy. He's buried with a bottle of it, so that's a special. It's a little more vanilla-y and sweet than a typical Jack Daniel's. They don't sell it anymore, but yeah.
You cracked it?
I had like 3 bottles. I'm a big Frank fan. As you can maybe see here.
Yeah. Room tour. Here we go. There he is.
Yes.
Chairman of the board.
All blue eyes. Yes, the voice, all that stuff. All right, but you are the voice of the Giants as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you, my friend.
Later, everybody. We'll see you guys real soon. Thank you very, very much. Excited for big things, hopefully.
Well, peace out, my friend.
Peace.
All right, everyone. Just me and you for a few seconds. And thank you for jumping in. Let me get the Periscope thing fixed. And I hope to see you all guys soon, as soon as possible. Subscribe, do all those things.